Welcome to Media Job Pod, and today we're talking with Hoag Levins at Advertising Age. Before we talk about some of the specific items for Media Job Pod, just give us a little brief background on your media history.
Let's see, I came out of the service and became a copy boy in 1969. I then became a reporter in a local South Jersey paper, moved over to Philadelphia. I was a reporter, an investigative reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Philadelphia Daily News. I got heavily into electronic video and the beginnings of digital media in the 80s, both working for a book publishing company and for myself. And in 1995, editor and publisher was looking to find someone who had broad, in-depth newsroom experience of the traditional kind, who could come in and make their website, because they were under siege by newspapers that wanted to know more about this new web thing. And I was hired at E&P to run their website, and then I was made executive editor of the whole E&P periodical division. And after that, I moved to apbnews.com, which was a standalone, one of the largest standalones pre-bust, .com bust websites. It was crime and justice, and it became a poster child, as a matter of fact, of the bust. And after that, I came to Advertising Age 7 years ago. I ran the Ad Age website, adage.com, and then the website, just like the entire world of digital publishing, became so broad and involved, and the demand for it to get into video was very high, and I leaped then into video, and the website is now, the website and the print magazine were merged. They're now one thing. There is no difference. Ad Age is the brand for whatever platform it needs to put information out on. It's no longer a print magazine.
It truly is a multimedia organization.
In every sense of the word for the last 3 years. I mean, in terms of like audio, like we were doing podcasts like very soon after they were invented. This company is truly multimedia in more ways than most trade publications, certainly.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're looking for when it comes to hiring, because the purpose of Media Job Pod is to give practical advice to university journalism and production majors who are about to enter the job market and hit that job hunt trail. What qualities do you look for when hiring a reporter in this day and age?
In my ads, when I put ads out for placement, I tell people, please include your email address and your personal URL. Well, a lot of people figure, oh, I don't have a URL, so I don't have to worry about that. And the whole point of my ad, it's very subtle. When the dozens and dozens of letters start coming in, or emails start coming in, my first search through them, I go through them to see, okay, which ones have a personal website. They're the only ones that make pile B. I don't even look at resumes that don't have personal websites, because that indicates to me that the person simply is not web-oriented. The fact that the student has something that explains who they are and gives some samples of their work says something that, okay, this person is likely to fit in, without looking at all the other qualifications. This person is likely to fit in a digital news environment, which is dramatically different from a print news or an old-style broadcast news environment. So, and a lot of the kids I talk to don't understand that. You really have to have a digital resume. I mean, it should be as ornate as you can make it, but you need, even if it's only a page with your picture and some text where you write about who you are and what you're doing now and what's your background, it's absolutely crucial.
How important are multimedia skills?
One of the biggest frustrations, I think, of most editors and maybe a lot of publishers is that their staffs of really crackerjack journalists don't have multimedia skills and don't seem particularly keyed up about getting them. They don't seem to have fire in their belly to understand HTML, to understand the presentation of stories, to understand and want to do digital photography, to want to tape their interviews and then put those online as a component of their text writing, or to do a video and combine those all in stories that are no longer flat stories. I mean, journalism stories are now about three-dimensional experiences that adhere to all the rules of journalism in terms of accuracy, fairness, except they use all these different components to tell their story: audio, video, photos, illustrations, animations. And most journalists, you know, and I hate to say that, I really do think it is most journalists, still believe that their primary job is to write words on paper, and that certainly, writing is certainly the core of who they are. But without all these other skills, A, they're not going to get a job. And they join, if you look out the window here in the middle of Manhattan, these sidewalks out here are absolutely running with tens of thousands of out-of-work journalists over the last 8 years. The shutdown of and contraction of newspapers, the shutdown and contraction of magazines, the contraction and wild changes in broadcast TV and cable TV have downsized virtually every single mainstream newsroom operation. Has been downsized dramatically. And all those highly experienced print journalists who write words on paper or on a screen are out there driving taxis and trying to find their way back into journalism. Except, as you can see here in this newsroom, what Ad Age is about digital communication. It's about three-dimensional journalism that uses video, audio, photography, still photography, animation, and other kinds of graphics to tell a three-dimensional story that kind of wraps around your brain. And I think that's where journalism is, like it or not, and a lot of people don't like it, that is where journalism is going. Right now, our newsroom and the newsrooms of all the mainstream publishers don't compete against each other anymore. The main competitor are 50,000 blogs, 25% of which are put out by people who are really good at it, who are growing audiences. You're no longer competing like with, in a trade, we're no longer competing with Adweek. We're competing with 400 blogs that cover advertising in 400 different ways. And to compete, we have to build newsrooms that are completely three-dimensionally digital. What these newsrooms in terms of hiring are going to need are kids coming out of college who are really good writers. They're really good journalists. They have a sense of advocacy and fairness and justice. At the same time, they can pick up a digital camera with this hand, they can pick up a video camera here, they can run back to their desk and download their audio and edit it up into a piece that half an hour later gets plugged into their story, which is coming from the copy desk and going up on the web, so they got audio in their story. And they're thinking in terms of, how do I capture this event I'm at, or this story I'm trying to tell? How do I capture this in all the three-dimensional tools that I have? There's very, very few of them, and they're desperately needed.